All right, and we are back. Blockchain Generation. My name's Toby Clark. We have a market wrap up to do here still tonight, and it's not looking too great, but let's kick some pigs together. What we're going to do is flip over immediately to CoinMarketCap. Now, since we are a tools based channel, I want to kind of prepare you or give you the tools if you haven't already if you haven't already put them in your toolbox yet, to be able to use CoinMarketCap. You need to be able to use CoinMarketCap. It's a very important tool that everything that you are going to be doing from this point forward, whether it's CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko. I personally continue to use CoinMarketCap. Some people prefer CoinGecko. That's okay, but we will most of the time on this channel be looking at CoinMarketCap, especially in our wrap-ups and anything else that might be happening through the day that we need to bring our attention to the market. So on a coin market or on a wrap-up, what we like to do is go through the biggest movers of the day. But before we get there, I want to be able to give you a little bit of a kind of, I don't want to call it a lesson because that almost sounds like it's, I don't know, that it's something that you can't understand and you need to be taught it. And it's not really that. But once you go to CoinMarketCap, I want to bring your attention to how it's laid out. Maybe that's a better way of saying it. I already said this in one other video, and I want to point it out here just at the beginning so that those of you that are following us from the very beginning and you're ready to kick some pigs together, you might say, you can really get the tools that you need, the fundamental tools that you need under your belt, so that as we move forward through the coming months and even through this next year, one thing kind of layers on top of another. So here at the top of the page, you can see, you should be able to make sure that I have that. Yeah, I have that full screen for you. You can see at the top where my cursor is at that you have some, they're not tabs, but they're just links. Once you go over them, they do bring down other links that are under that category. So like with cryptocurrencies, you can sort by, or you can check, well, let's just click it. You can click ranking. And ranking is what is going to be on the default. It's going to rank, it's going to show the coins per their rank. So for the time being and for the foreseeable future, Bitcoin will always be at the top of that page because it's ranked number one and still by far is ranked number one. And then Ethereum, Tether, blah, blah, blah. And everything up to Bitcoin, to be honest, can flip in every now and then. They can switch spots. It's not very common, but those are the types of things that you are looking for. So back up here, you can click recently added. I love this one. I think I showed this briefly or pointed it out the other day. This one is fun because you can, I go through seasons where I actually look at this one sometimes every day, once or twice, sometimes multiple times a day. You can see all the way over to your right, it was added, this top token was added 13 hours ago. Sometimes it will be like 1 hour ago. So you can watch as CoinMarketCap adds these new tokens. Now, I will say this little tidbit for you. Just because it's not on CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko does not mean that it doesn't exist already. What I mean by that is a project might launch and it might get a few months under its belt or even longer before CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko accept it into their ecosystem. So even though some of these show that they were added ago or 12 hours ago, it doesn't always mean that they are a brand new token or a brand new company. Just a little food for thought. Now, a lot of times it does. I assume Unino, had no idea what that is, added 13 hours ago. Let's look at it real fast. I assume that it's a brand new company. So I'm going to show you how to look at these. I'm not sure why our internet is lagging a little bit here. Be patient with me. In the meantime, you can see the volume column. The volume column is one of the most important columns, in my opinion. For some reason, our internet is not working letting us go to that link. But let me point out a couple of things. We'll try it again. This volume column, you can sort any of the columns. You can sort. So I like to sort. Click once, and it sorts from lowest volume to highest volume. Sort again. Click volume again, and it will take the highest volume coin over the last 24 hours. And it will put that one at the top. I like doing that because I want to look at the highest volume coins, especially when they launch, when they're brand new. So I typically always sort according to the highest volume. You can look here, the highest volume 2 days ago, and the volume in the last 24 hours has been over $23,911 changing hands. So that puts some validity. Doesn't mean it's a good company or a good token, but it sure does add a little bit of validity to whatever this is. OX DAO. Oh, this might be a DAO for, or a DAO, depends on how you want to say it, for the OX coin. Not sure. It's not going to let us do these links, but you can just click the ticker here next to the number, and it should take you to its individual page and allow you to look at all the data there. Not exactly sure why it's given us issues. Let's go back to the main page, just click back. And again, we'll run through a little bit more. Those were the main things I wanted to show you. Was ranking, recently added. You can do price estimates. Again, I personally would not get too caught up in price estimates. One person says that this coin is going to rise to $10 in the next 3 months, and this person says it's going to rise to $100 in the next 1 month. It's all arbitrary more than anything else. There is data that backs those decisions, but as we always like to say, we're not a channel that is a predictive channel, nor do we really look at charts that often. Even though I think they're important, that's not what I want to teach you. There's plenty of other people out there to teach those things. And I don't think that we can truly predict a market according to charts alone. There's a lot of other things that go into it. So you can see all these items here. Exchanges, these will be what, let me explain this to you because it's important, trying to find my words the best way possible. Cryptocurrencies tab is all the blockchain companies and cryptocurrencies, all the tokens that are listed. Over one are the exchanges. So now we have a whole different list. When you click here, you're going to see all the top exchanges that these companies and tokens are being traded on. And these sort by default from 1 all the way down. Binance being number 1, Coinbase Exchange number 2, FTX number 3. And you can get a good idea of where most of the trading action is happening. I also will watch these sometimes because as you see an exchange rising in rank, and you can look over here in the second column at volume over 24 hours. If we see some flippening happening on a consistent basis, and we see, which we've seen FTX continue to rise, let's say, on these charts, then FTX might be actually a company that we want to look into, because most exchanges also have what's called an exchange token. They have their own token that support and do different things on their exchange. So sometimes you want to watch just this page and say, wow, FTX has really been pounding it the last month or 2 months or 6 months. Maybe I should get a little bit of their token. And in that case, FTX would be and would have been, back as we saw it rising, a great one to get a hold of because it has continued to rise. Prices continue to rise. Again, back up at exchange. The other one that I want to point out is the DEX tab or link right here. And DEXs, we won't get into the details here, but DEXs are a certain kind of exchange that we call a decentralized exchange. So we have centralized exchanges and decentralized exchanges. And we'll do a whole lesson just on the differences between those two things. But a DEX is a decentralized exchange. I like to look at the DEX chart oftentimes for the same reason, to see what the volume is doing in each one of these DEXs. This is the amount of volume that is being traded on top of this decentralized exchange. Uniswap, number 1, DX number 2, Serum DEX number 3, Pancake Swap number 4. All of these I'm familiar with, and they're all in their right place right now. But I like to scroll down and see if something catches my attention every now and then. Just maybe a few months back, I noticed that HoneySwap was really rising. $229 million traded over the last 24 hours. And that caused me to do some research on HoneySwap. And HoneySwap, leads you down to what is HoneySwap? What tokens is it trading? Or I don't want to get into too many details, but each DEX also has its own chain. Typically, some can be multi-chain. Don't get confused. But so I want to know, first of all, what chain is this DEX on? And is it being used for? And is it becoming the primary DEX for that chain? So HoneySwap was one of those, and got some good information that day just from noticing the change. And then you can keep going over NFT if you want to look at the overall NFT statistics. That's fun. Upcoming sales, and you can go check out the websites and see if it's something that you're interested in before it launches. And those are NFTs, which will non-fungible token. We'll cover that in another lesson as well. That really deserves 3 or 4 or 5 days straight just to try to scratch the tip of the iceberg of what NFTs are doing right now. And then the portfolio tab allows you to just click to your portfolio. If you have made a portfolio, or if you haven't, you can add a new portfolio, put in the tokens that you've bought and sold. And you have to do that manually right now on CoinMarketCap, but it allows you to keep track of where you're buying at and where you're buying in at as it goes down or as it goes up. So we've talked about dollar cost averaging, and this is going to do the dollar cost averaging for you as long as you input the data in there. Okay, so that's portfolio. Watch list, I think I've shown you before. This is where you can click these stars at any point, at any time you're looking at any given token, and when you click the star, it adds it to watch list. I love using watch list. Calendars, I don't look at very much. You can get so overwhelmed, but it does show you free airdrops, ICO calendars. You have some dates to be looking at. Polkadot parachains, you don't need to worry about. There's just some action going on where it's time sensitive as to which chains are going to be allowed on the Polkadot system at launch. And so that's, a lot of people want to know that information. And then products, you can look. There are swap capabilities now on CoinMarketCap. We looked at Coinbase earlier today as an entry point to move money from your bank account into trading cryptocurrency to begin with. And I showed you what did they call it? A converter, where you convert from one coin to the next. Remember, I said that most sites and most of our terminology in this world uses the word swap. And you can see here CoinMarketCap uses the word swap. Here it's the same thing as what we saw on that video with Coinbase. You would connect, this gets a little bit too detailed because it's more of a decentralized way of doing a swap. But you can trade from, let's say, Ethereum back into USDT, being a stable coin, and choose whichever coin you want. You can see just the lists keep going on and on. And you can transfer, or you can swap from that into something else or back into a stable coin. Very helpful, but honestly, CoinMarketCap swap feature is not something I use. We will get into a lot of other places where you'll want to be focusing your swaps, and there's good reason for that. So I would not worry about using or really even looking at the swap feature on CoinMarketCap. Let's go back to the beginning. Let's do a quick market recap of the day, and I'll let you either go to bed, depends on what time zone you're in, or go watch some TV or whatever. I've got to get to my house to have a Bible study, and that's our Monday night routine at our house every Monday night. So you'll hear me say that a lot. Let's look at the market. Bitcoin, we can see, is coming in at 36,181 today. You can click on the token there to the left, and now it's working. So that's great. And you can see the chart. It defaults to the 1-day chart. You can see where my cursor's at, 1D, and then 7D, and then 1M, meaning, of course, 1 month. One day gives you a good idea of what has happened today. You can just slide across the chart like this. See how that, and the numbers change. I want to see the lowest point of the day. I'm going to go, let's see, about right there, it looks like 33,250. Now, that's the low of today, and I believe that's the low of this recent pullback. Actually, it says 33,184 here when you look at the 24-hour sliding scale here where my cursor is at. And that's another way of just looking easily at where we're at in the day. You can switch this to a 1 month sliding scale. You can see in the 1 month, we slide way over to the left. The 1 month high is 51,956. You can see how far, just in 1 month, you guys, how far we have lost or how far we have fallen. But as I say, don't let it worry you. Really, don't let it worry you. Unless you sell, you haven't lost anything yet, even if you feel like you have been paralyzed by this loss. Then you can also click the one, kind of interesting to see. Our 1 year high was 68,789. A lot of exchanges would have put it in the 69.5 range. There are different ways of reporting exchanges throughout the world, and CoinMarketCap takes all of that exchange data and disseminates it and puts it into one. So their number is 68,789. You can see 52 weeks. We're not too far off the low, 28,891. Very, very interesting. Then you can see the chart here. If you go to the 1 year, you can see it in chart form as to what has happened. Again, these don't need to mean anything to you. You can mess around with them. You can have fun with them. If you're new, they'll be confusing at times, but it is good to at least start getting familiar, because it's not that charts are bad. Don't hear me saying that. It's just that I'm not the chart expert, and I don't believe that they can truly predict the future, just as we've seen even in this last downturn. Most people did not see, even the high level TA chart looking people did not see this drop coming. All right, let's move on and finish up here. So we have Bitcoin, kind of our standard coin that we look at, especially when things are falling, to see what it's doing, if it's holding, if it's not. And it seems to be holding. It's holding earlier today at 33, up to 36. The question will be, are we going to go higher from here? Some people would say we might jump up to 38 or 39. Many would believe that we'll have a little push up like we've seen today, and then we're going to fall back, possibly even into the $29,000 range. Now, again, none of this is financial advice, just us talking together. And I'm thinking through the same things that you're thinking through, as when I need to start dollar cost averaging back into Bitcoin, back into Ethereum, back into a lot of my top positions. Ethereum is doing something different. Ethereum is actually staying down today. In fact, I think it's had an entirely down day compared to the last 24 hours. The 24-hour high was 24.66. The 24-hour low, 21.72. You can see right here. And if you go into you can see what I'm doing. If you go into the chart and you start to scroll, or I'm using a touchpad, if I'm just go forward, if I increase the size like you're making a picture bigger, you can make the chart bigger and be able to have more accurate view of all of these peaks and valleys. So it looks like that might have been our valley right there. So you can even have the time put on it, which was 6:14 this morning. We hit a low of 21.72. Wow. Crazy. And again, 24-hour, you can switch that to 1 month or 1 year. Okay. And we've got Tether coming in at 3, which is a stable coin. We talked about that. There's good reason for that, because a lot of people are putting their money back into stable coins right now when the market is questionable, to be ready to deploy that dry powder back into their positions when they feel ready. Binance Coin, BNB, 364. That might sound like a lot of money, but folks, that's had a severe drop. Just the 7-day drop in this is 23%. but not as much as Ethereum, which, wow, that shocks me. I didn't realize our 7-day drop in Ethereum is 25.5%. Folks, we are not doing very well. But as I've said, I say that and I almost say it facetiously, kind of like I like it, because I've been waiting for this. Some of you have been waiting for this so that we can have some good new buyback points and bring our dollar cost average down. Cardano, amazing buy at 104, in my opinion, not financial advice, but it really feels good to see Cardano at 104, not because I like the price, but because I can begin to accumulate more and more of a position in Cardano, which I love. XRP, same thing. XRP is a big position of mine and just want to continue to add. Trickle in, trickle out, right? Right now we're in trickle in mode. If we're going to do anything, we're going to trickle a little bit into the positions that we want to start to dollar cost average into. You can see Cardano is down 51.42% over the last 90 days. Wow. I mean, that's been cut in half. Been cut, and almost you can look over at this right-hand column. You can see the trend is we've been cut in half in almost most of the positions. And these are high-level coins. These are the top 10 coins. Polkadot, number 11, coming in at number 11 right now. So it's a top-level coin we're talking about. Down almost 60% in the last 90 days, 59.77%. Thankfully, I was trickling out of my Polkadot before we started this channel, when Polkadot was around the 41 to 42 range. And then I was trickling out. I was cost averaging out back down so that I can be ready to go back in again. Feel good about those positions that I was disciplined enough this time around to make sure I stuck to my guns. What I'm going to try to teach you is what I have learned myself and what is working. It's not foolproof, but it's spreading out your dollar cost averaging to a smaller degree. So you're trickling in smaller amounts so that it takes longer. It's maybe not as satisfying. It takes more discipline, but you're mitigating losses to the upside where you don't get to take advantage, but you're also mitigating losses to the downside, which are even more important. So I'm really happy with the discipline that we have come up with here. And I look forward to being able to kind of walk all of these things, walk through all of these things that we have learned over these last 5 years and continue to learn. You're never finished learning, especially in this market, in this world, in this whole new territory of blockchain. It is, we call it the wild, wild west. And it's that for a reason. It's getting less because we're getting a lot of institutional interest and even, unfortunately, but maybe fortunately in some ways, a lot of regulation. So less like the wild, wild west, less than it was in 2017. But I tell you what, we are still living in the wild, wild west territory. So be ready for that. Crypto.com coming in at number 20. Litecoin, another strong coin, been around really right after Bitcoin launched or came out of the secret places of the developer who, we don't know who the developer of Bitcoin is. Go look that one up. There's a lot of theories, but the developer of Bitcoin launched the code into the world as we know it today and has never revealed who he is. Very interesting. And soon after that, Litecoin launched. So that's really the top 20, folks. It's not looking good. Again, back over the 90-day losses. Uniswap is 60% to the downside in the last 90 days. Let's see if we have anything. We have a few that are still up from the last 90 days. And to be honest, I can already tell you, Sandbox, most of them are probably going to be metaverse plays. Sandbox is one. That's a stable coin. It doesn't count. Yep. Another metaverse or gaming coin. Or we've got metaverse and we've got play to earn blockchain gaming that have been really, they're not one and the same, but they've been together in this big move. That was one of the big last moves that we had before this last drop. And you can see Gala is still up 84% over the last 90 days, but trading down 41% over the last 7 days. So let that boggle your mind a little bit, which puts Gala at 17.9 cents, which I will say on that individual coin, I'm getting close to where I want to start trickling into Gala. It's a very, very strong project. Let's see what other positives. Loopring up 98%. I don't have as much exposure to something that I could research a little more. I know most of the top 100, at least to some degree. There are a few that I just have never put much time into. So that's very interesting, up 98%. Oasis, I have bought and sold some Oasis. I think another great, strong project, up 65%. We've got 70% down, which is Waves, still in the top 100, folks. Bora up 253% over the last 90 days. Again, Bora has popped into the top 100. And since it has, I haven't given it much time or thought. And see how looking at these numbers cause you to begin to have the aha moment of, maybe I should go research that a little bit. Maybe there's something to this project. And then all of a sudden you end up becoming a big investor in that project. All right, and that's the top 100. Guys, I am going to sign off for the night, head home to Bible study. But again, if you have not joined us somewhere in any of our followings that we have, let me pop this back up. Not followings, but platforms that we are streaming on. Whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on Twitter, whether you're watching on YouTube, or if you're on Twitch, if you're on Instagram, I would ask you to please like these videos and follow us. I know I say that a lot because we're a brand new channel, and especially YouTube. If I could ask you, if you're on any other platform other than YouTube, if you would just even run over to our YouTube channel, and it's Blockchain Generation. That's where you're going to find all of them. And you would subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you would hit that bell so that it notifies you when we start streaming each day. That would be a huge help to us because that puts us on the map with YouTube's algorithm and allows us even to get some organic traction prior to really our marketing plans that we have getting ready to move forward with in the next 30 days or so as well. But it will really get us into a better position. So I would ask you to do that. That would be awesome if you would. But I can't twist your arm other than just asking, please. All right. Hey, guys, as I always say, I love you. I'm for you. I'm in this with you. I'm using my own money just like you're using your own money. I'm trying to figure this out just like you're trying to figure this out. So let's take this journey together. Let's be the blockchain generation, and let's keep kicking some pigs. Love you guys.